All right, fired up right now to be joined by Jason McCourty, Captain Jason McCourty of the New England Patriots. You've been a captain before, Jason, but have to ask you before we get into our Dolphins discussion here, what's it mean to you to be named a captain for the New England Patriots?
Oh man, a humbling honor, to know that the guys see me fit to lead them and kind of be in the front and be able to do whatever is necessary to kind of guide them in a way and lead them that we can have as much success as possible on and off the field. So obviously in my third year here, I've become more comfortable getting to know the guys and figuring out what my role is going to be.
Jason, did you think we would get to this point 3-4 months ago maybe that we would be looking at the calendar and just 24 hours away from our first NFL game, but just a handful of days away from your first game? Did you think that this would have worked out as well as it has seemingly to this point?
There were a lot of moments of doubt, and especially the way it's worked out. I didn't imagine it'd be this good. We'd kind of be as responsible as we've been as players and staff, all of us in the league, of the daily testing of guys not having many on the COVID list going into kind of week one. It's been impressive and commendable of the people involved to make sure we're trying to do the necessary things to stay as safe as possible.
All right, Jason, let's talk about these Miami Dolphins because you guys have been playing against each other. No joint practices, no preseason games, no opportunities to knock around some guys that you don't actually have to share a locker room with this year. How excited are you for this matchup, and how similar is this team to the one you guys saw at the end of last year that obviously came to Gillette Stadium and gave you guys a hard time?
Yeah, we're going to see. And that's the thing. Like you said, because of no preseason games, because of none of that stuff, you don't really get a chance to see exactly who they're going to be in 2020. Last year is behind us. They've added a lot of new guys in that locker room. They've added new coaches to the staff. But I think we're eager and we're excited. Today's only Wednesday, so it's kind of that slow burn leading up to the game. But knowing that it's here, I think week one in the NFL is always an exciting one. It's been a long time since there's been football, and this year it's been special in itself because for a long time we didn't have sports. So obviously we have some of them back, but we know football is what it is, and everybody's eager and excited to see their favorite teams going out there to play. So our guys are fired up, and I think especially, with this game, there's a lot of familiar faces on the other side, which always makes it a lot more fun to be able to talk trash to guys like E-Rob and KV and all of those guys.
We're going to get into some of those names in a minute with a little word association game at the end of our conversation here, Jason. But before we get to that, I did want to ask you, because one of the things that has come with this offseason have been opt-outs. And for no team, have the opt-outs been a greater, maybe made a greater impact than for yours, losing guys like Dante Hightower, like Patrick Chung. And those guys are so critical, we know, to that second level of your defense. And I'm curious now for you, as a member of this secondary, do you guys on the back end maybe put any more pressure on yourselves to be able to help out a group up front that might be a little bit younger, that might be a little bit more inexperienced going into 2020?
Yeah, I think for us as a secondary, I don't know if there's any more pressure or higher expectation we hold for ourselves. I think we have probably the oldest group on the team when you add Devin and myself. So I think when it comes to communicating, when it comes to getting lined up and trying to make as many plays as possible, when you have a guy like Stephon Gilmore in your secondary, who's the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, when you have a guy like Dev, who's now spent his 11th year in this defense and has been a captain, it feels like for 20 times, him and Slate. And then obviously JC had a ton of picks last year. John Jones is a guy who's developed really well in his secondary and just signed an extension last year. So I think it is extremely high expectation in our secondary, and we take it upon ourselves to try to help as much as possible with communicating and just making sure we're ready to play when we get out on the field, whether that's practice, games, whatever it might be. So I think that's going to continue into the season. We're going to try to do as much as we possibly can to help this team be as good as we can on defense.
You laid out just some of the talented guys that you have in that defensive back group, and a lot of us know about Stephon Gilmore and what he brings to the table and just how good he is. I think J.C. Jackson is a little bit more unknown for some Patriots fans, even though he has been a real important contributor to the secondary for a couple of years now. But he is still so young, Jason. How good do you think he can be? Knowing all you know about that position and knowing all you know now about that player, how good can J.C. Jackson be?
I've said it time after time, man. The sky's the limit for him, and he knows that. I tell him that all the time. I try to challenge him as much as possible to become the player that he potentially can be. And I think he still hasn't reached that yet. And for me, as an older guy, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you got this young guy coming, and he's going to knock you out of there, and he's going to get on that field. And for me, at the same time, it's exciting, man. You see a young guy come in undrafted, and you just watch him from OTAs to training camp just make play after play after play. And then his rookie year, see him get some of the action and earn more and more playing time and continue to make plays. And then last year, as many times he was able to turn the ball over for us as a defense. And you see that every single day in practice. He loves to compete, whether it's one-on-ones, 7-on-7 team drills. He'll do as many reps as he possibly can to go out there and just cover guys. So I've loved being on the team with him, watching him grow, watching him develop. And I can't wait to see him this year to see how much more he grows into the player that he's going to become.
It looked to us, those of us that got a chance to watch you guys practice in training camp, that he had a great camp. So it'll be fascinating to see where his career goes from here. All right, let's have a little fun now here. Mentioned it earlier, word association time. I know you and your brother, you guys love the games. You love having these kinds of conversations. So I'm just going to spit either one name or one statement at you, and I want you to just tell me whatever comes to mind right away, and we'll fire through some of these rapid fire. All right, ready?
Sounds good.
All right, Cam Newton.
Energy, Ace Boogie.
How about Kyle Van Noy? Made some headlines today with some comments down in Miami.
Oh, I can believe it. Franchise player, elite talent.
I think he'll love hearing that, knowing Kyle Van Noy.
Hey, he'll get a kick out of that.
How about Brian Flores?
Oh, man. Passion, tenacity, always fired up.
All right, now last one here. Better podcasting duo.
Me and Dev.
McCourty
Me and
or
Dev.
Perry and Curran?
Me and Dev. Who are Perry and Curran?
What do you mean?
Never heard of them.
The Patriots Talk podcast. You guys are listeners. You're not even weekly listeners. You are bi-weekly listeners. You're listening all the time. You can't stop listening.
Hey, just tell everybody, make sure they check us out, season 3 of Double Coverage with the McCourty twins.
All right, there you go. Now you got your plug. We got our Patriots Talk plug in there. Jason McCourty, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Hopefully we'll be talking to you very soon, and good luck against the Dolphins week 1 here.
Appreciate it. Always a pleasure.